Hello, you're watching UZREPORT World and I'm Bahram Gaffarov. And here, top news for today. Situation around outbreak of coronavirus is getting worse as the death toll from epidemia has already reached 56. International Press Club of Uzbekistan hosted its regular meeting and its participants discussed President Shavkat Mirziyoyev's recent address to the Oliy Majlis. Uzbekistan's foreign trade turnover hits $42 billion, who is the main trading partner. The build of a new coronavirus, the spread is getting stronger, China's National Health Commission said on Sunday, as authorities in the country and around the world scramble to prevent a pandemic. More than 2,000 people have been infected globally and some 80 have been killed by the disease so far. There were many concerns about if there are Uzbek people among those infected, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs commented on the situation. The virus is believed to have originated late last year in a seafood market in the central Chinese city of Wuhan that was illegally selling wildlife. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Uzbekistan said that some 250 Uzbek citizens live in Wuhan. Around 30 of them are currently in the city. Foreign Minister Abdulaziz Kamilov said all students in Wuhan will be returned to Uzbekistan. A corresponding work is being carried out in cooperation with the Ministry of Health. Representatives of the Embassy and Consulate General maintain constant contact with the citizens of Uzbekistan, including through social media groups on WeChat. Foreign Ministry as well as diplomatic missions of Uzbekistan in China are keeping the situation under control and are in constant contact with the relevant authorities to resolve all issues, including the evacuation of Uzbek citizens if necessary. No cases of infection of Uzbek citizens have been identified so far. What measures are taken by the country's airport that welcomes guests from China? To get answers to our questions, we visited Tashkent International Airport, named after Islam Karimov. Our film crew arrived at the airport while another plane arrived from China on a direct flight, Beijing-Tashkent. The plane safely landed at 5:25 p.m. and some 50 passengers started passing the passport control. Employees of sanitary control, in the meantime, with a special attention, had to check each passenger. Chengdu flight has landed in Tashkent recently. Each passenger was carefully checked with special equipment. We inspected the temperature of visitors. All this can be done at a distance. It's not necessary to approach everyone. No one complained and we didn't see any symptoms. If there are any complaints, a thorough examination is carried out and the patient will be sent to special hospitals. Thank God, everything is fine. Of course, the signs of disease are very similar to something like when you get cold. The patient have cough, fever and shortness of breath. How dangerous coronavirus is, there is still no exact information about it. However, the number of dead and infected is growing every hour. The World Health Organization recommends that you first follow the rules of personal hygiene. Be sure to wash your hands before eating and wear a mask in public places. If you experience coughing and sneezing, please contact your doctor. I would like to note that employees of the Department of Sanitation and Quarantine of the Tashkent International Airport regularly carry out preventative measures for sanitary supervision. We hope everything will continue to be very good and we ask citizens not to worry. Another worse-to-note information is around shipments coming from China. Some internet users, in particular those who like buying things on the internet, were concerned whether it's dangerous to buy products from China, since AliExpress is very popular in Uzbekistan. Our independent analysis have shown that new types of coronavirus is transmitted mainly by airborne droplets or through contact with carrier. More importantly, known coronaviruses can live on average from a few hours to a couple of days outside the host's body. Given that shipments were from China rarely come in less than 2 weeks, the risk of infection is minimal. International Press Club of Uzbekistan held its regular meeting on January 25. The agenda included President Shavkat Mirziyoyev's address to the Oliy Majlis. The event saw Deputy Chairman of the Senate, First Deputy Speaker of the Legislative Chamber, Ministers of Finance, Foreign Affairs and Justice. All speakers supported issues raised by Shavkat Mirziyoyev during his address to the Oliy Majlis. According to Sadiq Sadayev, the first deputy chairperson of the Senate, in order to understand the essence of address of the head of the state, it's not just enough to read it once. This is not just an action plan for the next year, but a development program for the next 10 years. Over the past 3 years, the country has undergone drastic changes. Changes have affected all spheres, including public administration, judicial and legal system, economic and educational spheres. Analyzing all the reforms, we can see that Uzbekistan has huge opportunities to rise even higher. I consider the President's address as a platform of national unity.
According to the first Deputy Speaker, Akmal Saidov, the online broadcast of the message allowed billions of people around the world to watch the process. The address of the President aimed primarily at the people of Uzbekistan. Most importantly, as a result of all changes, government will strive to create conditions for prosperous life for population. Finance Minister Jamshid Kochkarov said that today the image of national economy is changing along with the trend of the digital economy. The efficiency and transparency of the industry is being improved. Justice Minister Ruslanbek Davletov shared his opinion about the honesty vaccine, which according to the head of the state should be created in the country to fight corruption. He also spoke about improving judicial and legal system, eliminating corruption, offences and ensuring human rights. We're talking about digital economy, transparent activities of state bodies and institutions, and the rule of law. If there is free competition, there will be no corruption. We must prevent the corruption and not just eliminate its consequences. And without the honesty vaccine, we can't achieve our goals. I strongly support the President's initiative to create a separate anti-corruption body.
Bodies of Uzbek migrants who died in Russian region Tomsk on January 21 were delivered to Tashkent on Sunday. The incident happened in a one-story wooden house which burned down with all 12 people inside. The identities of 11 victims were established on the first day of the tragedy. 10 of them were citizens of Uzbekistan. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev instructed to create a government commission to study the causes of fire and implement measures to provide comprehensive assistance to those victims and their families. US State Secretary Mike Pompeo is expected to visit Uzbekistan on February 2nd. His previous visit was postponed due to the situation in Iran. The US delegation is planned to be received by Uzbek President Shavkat Mirziyoyev. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will host bilateral negotiations. The foreign ministries are scheduled to discuss the implementation of agreements within the framework of the Uzbek-American Summit May 2018 in Washington and exchange views on current international agenda. Mike Pompeo will also attend the ministerial meeting on Central Asia, USA, known as C5+1 format. The average monthly nominal wage in Uzbekistan in 2019 comprised $240. The gross made up 27.5%. The lowest nominal wage was registered in the health and social services sector, the largest in banking, insurance, leasing spheres. The gross of Uzbekistan's foreign trade turnover in 2019 increased by 26% in comparison with the previous year and reached $42.2 billion, according to the State Statistics Committee. It's reported that the achieved indicator is the highest in the country's history.
The growth of Uzbekistan's foreign trade turnover in just 2019 increased by 26.2% in comparison with the previous year and reached $42.2 billion, according to the State Statistics Committee. It's reported that the achieved figure is the highest in the country's history. Exports total it $17.9 billion and imports $24.3 billion. Today, Uzbekistan has trade relations with more than 193 countries around the world. The largest volume of foreign trade turnover was recorded with China, 18%, the Russian Federation, 15%, Kazakhstan, 8%, the Republic of Korea, 6.5%, Turkey, 6%, Germany, 2.3%, and Kyrgyzstan, 2%. Exports and imports with China totaled $2.9 billion and $5.1 billion, respectively. The main part of the public debt also falls on the share of China. The last body was recovered from under debris as a death toll from the powerful earthquake in Turkey has risen to 41, the country's disaster relief agency said on Monday. The head of the Disaster and Emergency Management Authority said in a tweet that the last body was also recovered. 6.8 magnitude quake shook the eastern Elizak province late on Friday. Tremors were also felt in neighboring countries, including Syria and Georgia. Earlier today, in a press statement with two other senior officials, Health Minister Fahrettin Koca told reporters that 86 injured were under intensive care at medical facilities. Out of 1,607 injured people, 1,516 have been discharged from the hospital, while 45 people who were trapped under the debris of houses and buildings have been rescued, according to the Disaster and Emergency Management Authority. A total of 948 aftershocks were felt, it added. Emergency Management Authority said rescue work continues in the region with more than 3,800 personnel, hundreds of vehicles and 22 sniffer dogs. Bolivia's interim president, Jeanine Áñez, decided to request the resignation of the entire team of ministers who accompany her in the administration of the government, the Secretariat of Presidency reported on Sunday through an official statement. Therefore, it's decided to request resignation of all ministers to face this new stage of democratic transition management, says part of the statement. The president considered, according to this document, that it's usual that on the eve of registration of the candidates who will participate in the free, impartial and transparent electoral process of May 3rd, there are adjustments in the work team in the executive body. The decision of the president comes after knowing the resignation of Minister of Communication, Roxana Lizarraga. Lizarraga expressed her rejection on Áñez's decision last Friday to run for the May 3 presidential election. Áñez said that in the shortest possible time, she will ratify or appoint her 20 ministers and promised that there will be no interference from Palacio in her favor during the next election campaign. 3 U.S. service members and a contractor were killed in Afghanistan by an improvised explosive device on Monday, the NATO-led Resolute Support Mission said in a statement. 3 U.S. service members were also wounded in the incident near Bagram Air Base, close to Kabul, the statement said. In the meantime, 3 Afghan government officials said earlier in the day that a plane operated by Afghanistan's state-owned airline, Ariana Afghan Airlines, had crashed in Ghazni, central Afghanistan on Monday. They said there were 83 people on board. Mirwais Mirakwal later denied reports by Afghan officials that one of his company's planes had crashed. After almost 5 hours, Taliban took the credit of the aircraft. In a statement, they said few U.S. officers and soldiers were killed. Kobe Bryant, one of the NBA's all-time greatest players and athlete of global renown, was killed at the age of 41 on Sunday in a helicopter crash near Los Angeles along with his 13-year-old daughter and 7 on board, officials said. Bryant rocketed to fame as an 18-year-old rookie and played 20 years for Los Angeles Lakers, 18 as an all-star forward and won 5 NBA championships. His death sent shockwaves through the National Basketball Association, which he helped to propel to international prominence and stunned the fans around the world. The cause of crash was unknown. An investigation by Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board could take months. Bryant was known since his playing days to travel frequently by helicopter to avoid the Los Angeles area's notorious traffic. His Sikorsky S-76 craft went down in the low clouds and foggy weather shortly before 10 a.m. in hilly terrain just outside Calabasas, California, about 40 miles northwest of central Los Angeles, sparking a brush fire, officials said.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching UZREPORT World.